We're back on the Exit 52 podcast, Monday night, July 8th, 7:20 p.m. My name is Jake Louque, joined for a little long weekend recap here by my guy, 2 out of 3, Arditti. How we doing, bud? How was your fourth?
Good. It was fun. It was a good time. Just it's so damn hot outside. It's like I don't know how it was down the ocean. Yeah, gonna be a hot one. I don't know how hot it was down the ocean, but up here, I mean, it was every bit of 95 to close to 100. So spent it in a pool, which was always nice and refreshing. And yeah, it was a good time.
It was weather was pretty solid out there. Got some solid beach time in. Water still very, very cold. Mm-hmm. At least it was early in the day. Then it would warm up a little bit. But oh man, nothing I love better than going to the beach, laying out, having a few pops, maybe reading a little bit of a book, and just taking it all in. Can't do much better than that for my money.
What's better than that?
Guys being dudes. The Baltimore Orioles. Some might argue they're better than that. I mean, they're continuing a good run of form here, as our friends up in the Bronx are doing them a little bit of a favor and not having a good run of form. It seems like the AL East is sliding further and further into the Orioles' grasp here. It's still a long way to go, but Yankees will be coming to town soon. I think that's going to be the last series of the year between the two teams, right? And Orioles have a good chance to take the season series there, so that'll be great. But overall, we're here to just do a quick little light recap of the two games that went on over the weekend. We had some scheduling conflicts, a bunch of people out of town and everything, so couldn't quite get to them immediately after those two. So we decided, with it being the off night here, we'd hop in and just kind of lightly go over it. So what were your thoughts on this weekend in Baltimore baseball?
The Seattle series, again, the West Coasters are tough, especially to stay up for them last week. Seattle was interesting. I'm trying to even remember. I think it was Grayson Wednesday. I think what was it, or Tuesday? I'm trying to remember. I'm pulling it up now. Yeah, they win 2-0 on just maybe the forgettable game of that series. No, that was just a Grayson dominant performance. That was awesome. I'm trying to pull it up. 6 2/3, 4 walks, 8 Ks. He got at us in big spots. He gave us his patented fuck yeah. He may be the king of the fuck yes.
That's his that's his thing. Shout out to our guy Abby Miller, who tweets the clips out. He's had more than one of those this season, and they're always fun. He's just kind of he's just one of those big Texas-y dudes. He's big Texas out there, and he really lets it rip when he has a big moment like that. So that was a lot of fun.
His other big move is to spin around after a strikeout. He'll come through, he'll follow through, and then he'll spin around really quick, and he'll do it he'll yell into his glove or something. Coupled with his performance yesterday, Sunday in Oakland, we'll talk about the All-Star stuff later. That's a guy who I think had a legit shot at making the All-Star team. He's just pitching so well this year. And I know pitching wins don't mean anything anymore. It's not, they don't matter like they used to. He's turned into a really, really, really good pitcher. And we saw flashes of it last year, and he finished obviously down the stretch really well and then faltered in the playoff spot. But every game now, there was a time last year where before every Grayson start, you're like, which Grayson are we getting? We just don't know. And then after he's come back up from Norfolk, he's been incredible. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. So that's great to watch. Wednesday night, they had the match with Logan Gilbert and Kramer. The Orioles jumped all over him early. They got 3 in the third, 1 in the fifth. And again, that was a 4-1 win. That was another good one. And then the clunker on Thursday, which if you're going to have a shit the bed, piss down your leg game, do it on the 4th of July when no one's watching and everyone's at the beach or in a pool or something like that. I'm paying attention to the game on my phone, be like, oh, Corbin Burns.
We took the boat out that day onto the bay, just waiting for the fireworks. And I was just I'm putting this out of my mind. Most forgettable game of the year for my money.
Easily. And you're just oh, okay. You're checking, I got 2-0. Okay. 2-2, whatever. Mariners won't do anything. And it obviously unfolds from there, but you're what do I care? I'm 5 beers deep right now. There's fireworks going off. Who cares? Whatever. So again, if you're going to lose a game like that, whatever, do it on that one. But then the series in Oakland, which was a very weird series. The 3-2 win on Friday, which was, again, it was a nail biter. Oakland has given them fits this year. They've played them well, but Big Daddy Al just continues to do the damn thing. That was awesome to watch, and he's pitching very well. And then the Saturday game, which I will happily admit, I think I watched 2 innings of that and got the vibe from little Cade Povich, like that it was not his night. And I said, I'm not letting this ruin my Saturday. I'm going to go on a run, or I'm going to go. I forget what I did, but 19-8 final, not great. Especially when you spot them 10, 12, 14 runs in the first 4 innings. And again, like I had people being like, Saturday night being like, what is it? What do you think this loss means? I don't think it means anything. Is this not a wake up call? And it was like, what do you mean a wake up call? Like it's a loss. Like I told some guy, I go, that loss counts for 1 in the standings, just like the one on Thursday did. Like what? It doesn't mean anything. And even everyone's favorite guy, JLC, was like, this is a demoralizing loss. They gotta, this better slap Elias.
It's so easy as a baseball player. I mean, I shouldn't say this. I have no experience with this whatsoever. But like as a fan, definitely, it's very easy to just divorce yourself from the emotions of a game very quickly. Like with football, it happens, and then you have to live with it for days. And like maybe you'll even like avoid the media and stuff, but the media is talking about all the games, and like you're gonna have to hear about it. And then you've got to wait another week or another 2 weeks to hopefully get that redemption. But with baseball, you just kind of flush these things and keep moving, man. It's just such a living, breathing thing, a baseball season. And like the very next day, you got to go right back out there and, see what you can do to redeem yourself. And they did that time. So
exactly. And that's exactly what the Orioles and Grayson did on Sunday. Again, Cade Povich it was an awful start. You could tell from the first inning that he just didn't have it. And again, it looked that the Orioles that day, at least up until the bats started getting going, but that looked like a team that was kind of tired and on the West Coast and being like, okay, we just don't have it today. And that's just what happens. I don't, obviously you want to win every game. I know Twitter, God forbid Twitter wants to win every single game, but like you're going to have these stinkers. You're absolutely going to lay eggs at times. And they did. So this was the norm in 2019 and 2018. Like this was a common thing. Like now, people blow up.
It literally just happened in Houston. Like
yeah. And again, season was over then. Season was over Saturday. Season was over after they lost to Cleveland. But we've said it time and time again. I don't know what it is. I don't know what goes into it. If it's Mike Elias, if it's Hyde, if it's the clubhouse. But the way that they bounce back is just like nothing happened. And again, they truly just flush it and get it out of the way, and they go. It's exactly what Grayson did. Yesterday, Sunday, he went again 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, which were kind of whatever. 1 walk and 8 Ks. He's 11-3 with a 3.5 ERA. He's a stopper. He's pitching out of his mind right now. You got the triple from Gunnar, which I don't know. Did you see the triple or not? You may have been driving home or something.
Yeah, I don't think I did.
This ball, so he smoked it right at the center fielder, directly down the middle, right at him. And the center field, it was 112 and a half off the bat. This guy took like half a step in and realized like, oh shit, this ball is going to be on me. And it like short hopped him, and he tried to do like one of these, and it just rolled right by him. And Gunnar was running hard out of the box, but that's a terrible feeling if you're a center fielder. Like I had that play happen to me in softball last night. And again, you take a half step in and you're like, oh motherfucker, this thing is going, especially with Gunnar up there. So Gunnar had that. He had the home run the other night, or when did he have it? Thursday, I think, to put them up 2-0. And then our boy, the Vikjing, big old Heston Kjerstad with the bomb yesterday after Santander in the first to give him that 4-0 lead, who, I don't know who tweets it from the account, but you're going to have to pry that bat from his cold, dead hands. And he is not letting that thing go. Grayson had some good comments about him after the game.
I wonder how many people understand that reference and like the
which the cold, dead hands.
Yeah.
You could explain it for everyone if you want.
No, you can do your own research into it, but it's pretty tangential to it. It's literally just relates to Heston Kjerstad's first name and somebody else's last name. And it's,
I have no idea.
Carlton Heston speaking to the NRA saying you have to pry my gun from my gun.
Well, okay, there we go. There we go. Alrighty. But no, again, he's hitting the hell out of the ball. So it was, good series overall. You flushed the 19 runs or whatever they gave up. Doesn't matter. Again, my big thing about that was, I think they only used like 3 pitchers and James McCann, which is like you give up 14 runs in 4 innings and you're like, oh man, we're going to burn through the bullpen today. And that's not what happened. So that kind of set him up for Sunday. I saw that question from our guy, Mike, I think it was, about the Povich or McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at Povich's numbers at home, he's done pretty well. I'm perfectly okay with him.
They've been patient with other guys too. I mean, like obviously a position player is different, but they gave Holiday so much time, like when he was really struggling. And I know it's pitching, it's much more singular of an experience, so it can be tougher to break out of a slump. But these kind of things do happen to guys, especially a younger guy like him. So I think they certainly will give him, another shot. And if it continues to unravel, I think that's when you have the conversation. But I think I'd stick with him for now to answer that question.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not like giving up on Cade Povich by any means. Again, what you saw on Saturday was awful, but like we've talked about, bounce back, flush it. Like that's, I think, what's bigger to the coaching staff and the guys. Like, hey, can you put that bad outing away? You threw no strikes on Saturday. Like, can you come out here and throw strikes against a lineup that has guys who are capable of hitting? They haven't hit except for Judge and Soto. But, I think it's a good challenge for him. It should be a great crowd Friday night. I think that's when he's kind of like scheduled. There's not in pen yet, but I think he'll go Friday night. No, I'm not bringing up McDermott just for the start and putting him down. And then
Kramer's performance is so encouraging, too, in that regard. Like, if you're going to talk about one guy having a bad game, a guy coming back off the injured list and having a good game like that, when you really, really needed it, that's encouraging stuff. So.
That's a great point. I forgot to mention that he was awesome. His stuff was some of the crispest like it's ever looked. Like that was. I'm trying to pull up his line now. I mean, he looked awesome that day. And again, the Mariners have the worst batting average in baseball, and they're in the first place in that division. So like, I mean, we saw it. That offense sucks. Like they are very bad, but. For Kramer to come back and look like that was fantastic. It's very encouraging. I think for him, the rest of the staff, a lot of people, 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 8 Ks. I mean, the O's are just racking up the 8 balls and Ks. So I like what I saw out of, all the pitchers this week, minus Povich, but that's just kind of how it goes. No one's ever going to complain about a 4-2 road trip. Again, they've made up 7.5 games on the Yankees in like 3 weeks or something like that. Like, I got the Yankee fans in my mentions now because I tweeted last night that they haven't won any of their last 7 series, and the Orioles have lost 6 series all year. And some guy was like, "Whoa, the Orioles should be better than 3 games above them." And it was like they were 4.5 games back like 2 weeks ago, dude, 3 weeks ago, whatever. So they're playing about as well as you can, and with the Yankees just doing what they're doing, I mean, you can't ask for much more from the Orioles. It's just win series and move on from there. It doesn't matter how you do it, where you do it at, just win and repeat. That's all you got to do.
Yep, absolutely. And they were somewhat recognized for how well they've been playing this season with the All-Star Game announcements. Obvious ones in there being Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, Corbin Burns getting the call to represent the American League. But there were some snubs on there. You mentioned Grayson. I think I was doing a bit with the Kimbrel thing a couple weeks ago. I think Kimbrel, like,
it's not a bit. It's not a
bit.
No,
it wound up not being one because he just kept gritting and grinding these saves out. And he had the stat about, not ever closing out a, kind of a 1-run game. He got that monkey off his back. He's just continued to do the damn thing. And I think he absolutely deserved it. Was it Clay Holmes that got the, yeah, and he's not having a great season. So
I think I saw a stat that said that Kimbrel has 9 saves in the time since Clay Holmes has gotten his last save. Yeah. So like they're putting him to work, and like you said, those 1-inning saves, it was like, oh, he's 0-for-4, and now I think he's like 6-4, something like that. Like he's converted his last like 5 or 6. He's been nails. I mean, he's given up 2 runs since May 10th. That's 2 runs in 2 months. That's really, really good. So, and someone was like, I think his number, like he may be better right now than Felix was last year. Like, Felix kind of scuffled early. But
it always always just looked good with Felix though, just because he has so much power and like he's just got such a presence about him. Like with Kimbrel, it definitely, like, we love the guy, but there definitely are some moments where you're kind of holding your breath a little bit, even in the ones that he winds up coming through. It's not as aesthetically pleasing, I think. And then also he's had his struggles in the postseason. He's had his well-documented struggle earlier this year. So, those biases can work against you a little bit.
Yeah, and again, you mentioned, optically it doesn't look great a lot. He hit two guys on, I think that was Wednesday night, after Kramer's start, but he quote hit two guys. If you saw them, they were like, if the guy was wearing a small pants instead of a medium, then he wouldn't have hit him. It barely grazed his back leg.
Yeah.
And then I think the other guy, he bounced it and it like hit his shoelaces, and the shoelaces
I didn't
flew.
even. I still maintain. I don't think that hit him. Like I don't know.
It was weird. Again, it's weird West Coast late night baseball, and you're just like, you're delirious. It's like 12:30, and you're like, sure, whatever, I don't care.
Games are so late. They were so fucking late, dude. I knew I had the long weekend coming up and all this stuff, so it was kind of whatever. But I was just like, oh my god, I just get me through. No more West Coast baseball for me.
I know. I think it's their last West Coast game until like the end of August, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, it's not pretty, but I looked at, I mean, his whip is under 1. I think it's under his career average. I think he's like 50 Ks in 33 innings. So he's striking everyone out. He's not letting guys on, but like you said, like when he gets into trouble, it's usually by his own doing with a walk or a hit by pitch or something like that. But again, I mean, as scary as it seems to watch him pitch, all he does is close out games now. Like that's what he does. And the weird part was they said Clay Holmes was like picked by the commissioner's office, and it's like what's really going on there. It's not like the Yankees needed a representative. Like they have Judge, they have Soto, they have all those guys in. Like why? I didn't get that, but I'm not. And again, there were people mad about Westberg and Mountcastle and Santander. I'm not mad like, oh, get our guy. I want to watch them on Tuesday night. They should be in the All-Star game. It's more for like, I know these guys have contracts and incentives and bonuses and stuff like that. Especially guys like Mountcastle, who's gone through hell and back, and Santander, and guy like Ryan O'Hearn, who probably thought his career was going to be done and he wasn't going to be a major leaguer. When he was traded and DFA'd by the Royals, DFA'd by the Orioles to pick up Lewis Brinson or something like that. Like, I'm sure they all had times in their minds where they were like, you know what, I'll probably never make an All-Star team, and that's okay. And they came so close, and it would have been really cool. And they can still make it. Like Kyle Tucker made it over Santander. He hasn't played in a month. He's not going to play till after the All-Star break. I'm sure Santander could get picked as a replacement, but again, guys, O'Hearn and Mountcastle and all them, like Westy will have his chances too. It's bullshit that Simeon got in over Westy.
Westy, like the thing about Westy is like his numbers all indicate that he should have been the pick there. Like that's the frustrating thing. Santander, I think he definitely made his case with the tear that he went on in June. You could definitely get behind that. O'Hearn, obviously, Mountcastle, I think you could make a case for as well. But there are, that's pretty big list of guys that just be left off and no reserves and anything like that. And Hyde had some, I think, pretty good comments there where he was like, he didn't go so far as to say it's bullshit and like whine about it, but he did make it known that like he noticed that and like he's going to keep that in mind. I think that'll be a motivating factor for him. Grayson, I think, had similar comments too. Mm-hmm. And I think it's good. Just kind of, it's not a super serious thing, but it's a good way to sort of galvanize the locker room sort of against the outside noise. And, these athletes, like, they're all just, telling themselves stories about how they're the underdog and everything's working against them, when in reality, like even the lowest guy on the totem pole in any of those clubhouses is like the top 1% in the entire world, by any metric. But like, you've got to tell yourself a story about how you're still the underdog and how you still have to compete. So it's more fuel for the fire. It's more grist for the mill. And I think, I'm excited to see how it motivates the rest of these guys, not only for the rest of the season, but for the rest of their career. I mean, Westberg, young guy, but, he was a first round pick and, he's was highly touted out of Mississippi State, but you kind of get lost in the shuffle when you have two just very recognizable face of the franchise type guys in Adley and Gunnar at the top of the clubhouse. They're kind of, not taking away the shine from him, intentionally or anything, but that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. So it would have been nice for him to get that recognition. I think you're right. He'll get there someday. And it would have been good this time around.
Yeah, and again, it's not a bad thing that these guys are going to get some rest. Again, a guy like Westberg who has cooled down, and Mountcastle, who, that's the thing with Mountcastle, he probably, 3 weeks ago, it's like, oh yeah, he definitely, should be in line to start. And then Vlad goes on a tear and Mountcastle gets sick and his numbers drop. So, these guys can always use rest. I'm perfectly okay with that. I would love it if Burns goes and doesn't pitch and it's kind of just there, or, if he doesn't, maybe he doesn't even go, his wife just had twins. That's what someone was like, it would be neat if he dropped out and maybe Kimbrel goes or Grayson goes or something like that.
Yeah.
But again, I think I said it on here the other night. Like, I'm happy that Adley and Gunnar are starting, and they'll play 2 innings and they'll get in at bat, and then they're done. They're gone. Like, they're not going to be playing into the 8th and 9th inning and all this stuff. Like, they'll get in there, they'll get seen, they'll get dirty. You know, Gunnar will be head to toe in dirt and have mangy dog, you know, mud in his beard and mustache and all that, and then he'll go home. But yeah, again, it's, you know, anything for them to get a chip on the shoulder, I'm perfectly okay with. I saw a stat, I forget who said it too. They said every year that the Orioles have had 4 or more All-Star representatives, they haven't won a playoff game. So they were like, let's keep it at 3 and let's go.
Trust me, there's another team right on the other side of Camden Yards that has gotten many Pro Bowl selections in certain years that things don't always fall their way. So it can be a blessing and a curse.
See, the All-Star game would be different if they played it like a week before, like the Pro Bowl, where like they played a week before, and it's, you know.
Yeah, the All-Star game is very much,
you know,
the All-Star game is very much in dialogue with the MLB season in the way that the Pro Bowl is not with the NFL. It's much more an afterthought in the NFL.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the Derby for me is still king. It's just like the All-Star game, whatever. Like, I will watch, but I'm not going to be, you know, paying that much attention after Adley and Gunnar go out, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, again, I mean, it's neat that they were recognized, and you know, that there is like a dialogue about like, here's, you know, the Orioles should have had this many and they didn't, and blah blah blah. But it's like, again, ultimately at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I'd rather have no All-Stars and win the World Series, obviously, than have 8 All-Stars and, you know, go out in the first round or do whatever. But get your rest, go do whatever, have fun on their break, and, you know, again, come back and get ready to go for the second half.
Absolutely. Is that all we got on the All-Star game?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't have anything else on it.
Yeah, I think we covered it all. So last thing on the old agenda here, I actually threw another little nugget in here that I think could be interesting to get to. But Cubs and Yankees coming to town. Cubs floundering, Yankees obviously floundering in their own way. What are our thoughts on these next 2?
I mean, they have a legit chance to really put some ground between them and the Yankees this next week until Sunday. I said if they could go into the Yankee series at least up 3.5 games, where again you can assure yourself you're gonna go into the All-Star break at first place. That would be really, you know, fantastic. Obviously, like you said, the Cubs are stuck in this weird, like, do we sell or are we going to buy? We don't know what we're doing. They're like the worst team in the NL, or like second or third worst team in the NL over the last like 2 months. They're really bad. I don't know if they're facing, what's his name? Imanaga. I don't know. I think, you know what? I think it's Burns and Imanaga on Wednesday. Burns versus TBD. I thought I saw that it was Imanaga, but again, it's Kramer, Burns, Suarez, and then that would probably leave Povich, Grayson, and whoever else for the Yankee series. But again, if they can get these wins, just 2 out of 3, both series, I'm perfectly okay with that. Again, you go into the All-Star break with at least a half game, a 1-game lead, something like that, and I think you're going to be sitting pretty. Obviously, you don't want to lose any ground here, but they have a real chance to put their foot on the Yankees' throat, especially that last series. I mean, I'm going Friday and Saturday. That I'm praying that they're good crowds. Again, I don't know how many Yankee fans will come down here because it's not looking great for them right now. So if they lose 2 out of 3 against Tampa, I don't know how motivated their fans would be to come down here, but I would love to make it a living hell for the ones who do come down and really, kind of slap them around and show them again, like, hey, there's adults at the, go back to the kiddie table. The adults are talking now, and just really, really put it to them. And just separate as much as you can, and then go into the second half with a decent lead. That would be fantastic. Worst case scenario, you go into the All-Star break up a half game. Best case scenario, you're going up like 5.5 or 4.5 games, something like that.
Yeah, and basically just having taken or on track to take the season series, I think that would be huge too for potential tiebreaker and everything. So yeah, the Cubs series, certainly it's going to be important. You want to pay attention to that, but I've really got the Yankees one kind of circled on the calendar there. It feels like sort of a meeting that has been weeks in the making now, with the way that these clubs have kind of gone in different directions. Yeah,
and again, you're right. I mean, the Cubs one, like we said, you kind of circle the Yankees, but you can't overlook the Cubs. I mean, that's not that they will, or not that they haven't done it this at all. We kind of thought it was going to happen with the Phillies series before the Yankee series, but yeah, you can't overlook them. You can't be like, hey, we got to finish strong against New York. It's like, just take care of business versus versus Chicago first, and then play your Yankee cards as they lie when they get here. But I mean, if they could sweep the Cubs and just really, really make a statement there, that would be great. Again, force some of these teams into trading. Minaga, Tyon, Steele. Okay, those are their three top guys. Those are three really good pitchers. So again, it's going to be kind of a bulldog fight. Again, the Cubs really don't have anything to lose right now. They're trying to scratch and claw their way back up, and they're going to be that rat stuck in the corner. So
I mean, after this offseason that Craig Counsell's had to, like, you got to imagine he's going to be wanting to fight for his life here to like try and clean the image up a little bit to close the year out strong.
Yeah. Again, it's been a tough one for them and him especially. But again, if they're throwing those three guys out there, those three dogs, then yeah, the Orioles again. Kramer, Burns, and Suarez. You're gonna need to bring your A game. So that's and most of the time those three guys do. But yeah, that's a big one. That's just as big as the Yankee series to me. Your most important series is the next one, or this one, whichever one however you want to word that.
Yeah, and you just want to, like you keep saying, go into the break on good vibes, take some nice time off, let your body and mind kind of rest and recuperate, and then come back ready to give them hell in the second half. I think you're dead on.
Did you see what time the game starts on Sunday?
No.
11:35 a.m.
Yeah, it's the morning game. I forgot. Yeah, we talked about that.
And it's on Roku TV.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I don't know what a Roku TV. I'm gonna have to go somewhere and I'll have pancakes and watch that game or something.
I was gonna say I might head over to Best Buy and get myself a Roku box. You remember the Roku box back in the day?
I don't know. I didn't. I don't even know what it is. I thought it
was kind of like a Fire Stick almost, like before we had like the USB type thing going on. It was you get your Roku box and you stream your stuff on there.
I don't know what to do, but many Baltimoreans and Dundalkians are going to be pissed on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon at like 12:45 when they go to turn on Masson. Yeah, and it's like poker reruns or something. It's gonna be Tom Davis sitting in a park with his hat on.
It's gonna be Keegan Aiken coming out of a rain delay.
It could be. It always could be. 90% of the time, it is.
Yeah,
it is Keegan Aiken. So.
Okay. Well, that is the only other thing I wrote up. Did you see any of this scuttlebutt about a certain big strong prospect of theirs that might be waiting in the wings to come up soon? What's the smoke there?
I did. I heard that. I heard maybe today. I heard maybe tomorrow. I have no clue on anything.
For anyone who doesn't know, Coby Mayo, there's rumors that he's coming up like imminently.
I don't know if that was like a, hey, I got a tip, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, or if it's just like, it seems like it makes sense because again, if they're facing Steele as a lefty, I believe Imanaga is a lefty, I think, right? I think so. Yes, and then again, the Yankees have Cortez who will probably go and maybe Rodon. So again, if you're going to bring him up, it's not a bad time too, considering you're at home, again, he can come up and he can feel out the wall. He can get comfortable. You're going to face, I would think 4 out of 6 of them are lefties. And again, you can get him in the lineup, get his bat in there, get him, kind of situated and seeing lefties and major league pitching and stuff like that. And then you give him the All-Star break. So it's kind of like he'll have, he can get some good experience in a limited amount of time. And I don't know, it's almost like
I think it's all about the bat too. I think they just really want to see that bat. Yeah, like when people are talking about him as a trade chip it kind of floats around, but then like well-sourced people are saying like, no, he's untouchable. They want to see him behind the plate. They're at the plate this year. Like, and see what he's got.
Yeah. The bat is major league ready. It's 35 to 40 home run power, like legitimately. There's our guy Pigtown. Pigtown is the one. He's the one who had the, what stat was it? The All-Star one. They've never won an All-Star game with more than 4 reps, or a playoff game with more than 4 reps. Okay. But no, from what everything I've heard and like the people I've kind of talked to, it's the throwing errors. It's exactly what Brandon said. They've kind of switched up his throwing motion at third, and it just hasn't stuck with him. And that's kind of the book on him is his defense is not great. They've had him at first a couple times last week. People are like, oh, well, you can trade Mountcastle. It's like, you don't just trade a guy and throw, like, it's not softball. It's not little league. You don't just throw a guy at first base because he's big and strong and you hope that he can make plays. Like Mountcastle's a Gold Glove caliber, first baseman. O'Hearn's a pretty good first baseman too, defensively, but I don't know. Again, unless they bring him up, and I don't know what the corresponding move would be. One would think, Ramon DFA. I don't think they're going to do that just to bring him up and see. But I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely excited for him. I have no clue when he comes up, if he comes up, how he comes up, who goes if he comes up. But I'm anxious for him. I have that meme ready to go, and that video will be tweeted out several times. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited for him if and when it happens. But I don't know. I guess we'll wake up. They seem to do it like around like 2:00, I think 1:30 is when they kind of make those announcements, the roster moves. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I kind of wonder, he probably wouldn't be like a hype video guy because he was like a third rounder, right?
No,
like,
I think you make him a hype video. I think, because they got plenty of shots of him hitting like just rockets down in Sarasota and all that. I would think he's a hype. Yeah. And again, I mean, the fans love him. The crowd, he's definitely.
Yeah, he was one of the Stoneman Douglas kids. I mean, that's quite a story. Like, that is, good on him for, oh yeah, that is quite a can of worms to get into. But I mean, he seems like a really switched on kind of kid from the few, interviews that I've seen with him and stuff, down in camp and everything. And yeah, it's very exciting. Like just all the physical. I mean, people have been tossing around the term raw power with Heston a lot. And I think it would be a similar kind of deal with this guy where he just flicks the bat and the ball just flies out into the night air. Like I'm very excited.
He is massive. Like when I met him at the Caravan, and I mean, again, I'm not tall at all, but I'm like legitimately like he's a big dude.
You're saying you've known a lot of people over the years?
Yeah, big people, big strong guys. Yeah, again, I mean, I'm pumped for him regardless, but would be a good sports month for him. His hockey team wins, he gets called up, and he's a massive Panthers fan. So he's a Dolphins fan too. People were worried, like after the Titans. Remember the Titans had that comeback and beat the Dolphins Monday Night Football, and he tweeted. What did he tweet me? He tweeted me something and was like a sad face or like oh damn it, just tagged me, and everyone was like. And it was like, it's like November or something like that. And they're like, Mayo got traded. He just got traded. That's what that means. And he was like, no. Like the Dolphins.
Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
Pissed down their leg like in the last 2 minutes against the golden god that is Will Levis. So yeah. He'll be fun. I mean, he's a great like personality. He'll be fun. He'll mix right in with Cowser and all those guys. Like he obviously has good rapport with.
I think we might have to get our guy Nicky Smokes out for a game. I think they have some history.
He's best friends with Nicky Smokes' brother. So go figure.
There you go.
That's funny. But again, I had it out there on the record. I said, if they call him up by today, I would eat a mayo sandwich. Like I was going to go to Subway and just get like,
maybe you should shotgun a jar of mayo.
Taylor's. I don't want to eat the mayo out of the jar. That's Taylor's game. I don't want to step on his toes. That's
okay. Taylor
has done that already for content.
You should do like liquefied mayo through the dong bong.
I would just clog it up. That's bacteria city waiting to happen. Like,
well, you've got little Gunnar Henderson. That was his first job on the team, was disinfecting the dong bong.
Yeah,
get that. He was the rookie at the time.
We do forget that, but no, I'll come up with something. Well, I had always said like, hey, if the bird bath wants me out there, like dumping mayo on myself after his first home run, I would gladly do that. But the phone has run dry on that avenue. So who knows?
Alrighty. Well, my friend, that is all I've got written down. You got anything else before we pack up our tents here?
This Monday for the Home Run Derby, we are doing the last. We're watching the Derby. There's Orioles trivia before. I believe you have to sign up for it. So look on their Facebook page and all that. But yeah, I get to Jimmy. We watch Derby. We've done it the last couple of years. It's always a good time. Hopefully Gunnar puts on a show. They switched the format of it. So like the first round, you're not going against anyone. Like Adley lost to Lubob last year, but Adley had third highest out of everyone who went in the first round, but he lost and so he didn't advance. So it's the top 4 out of the people who go in the first round, and then that's when the matchups happen. So come on out, 8:00. We'll be there a little earlier. Get your drink. You're gonna have drink specials, food specials, stuff like that. And again, we're just be kind of shooting the shit, watching the Home Run Derby, and having some fun with it. So I'm gonna do the best Kerman impression. I've already been practicing oh, he hit that one to Frisco. I've been looking up like obscure towns in Texas and.
That one's out to Grand Prairie.
That's onto the campus of Utah.
He hit that one to Deep Ellum. And he saw Jerry Garcia out there.
Just bring him back like once a year. They should just. I don't even know why that's a thing anymore. That he's not doing it. Just the Derby.
He should have a life. He should be like Vern Lundquist at the Masters. He just had a lifetime contract. Just bring him back every single year. Yeah,
Sit him behind the tree. Sit him behind the tree on 17 or whatever that was.
He's gonna shake Gunner's hand from behind a tree. Yeah,
exactly. But no, it should be a good time. Again, the field is kind of coming into form now. It's Gunner. It's Bobby Witt. Marcelo Zuna from the Braves. And then Pete Alonso, who get a life, dude. Someone tweeted me or someone sent me a tweet and they said Pete Alonso doing the home run. 5th year in a row, he's doing 5th year in a row. Get a job, Pete Alonso.
It's like it's like the COVID kid who he's like a quarterback. He's like a quarterback at like Grand Valley State or something. Like in his 9th year, like that's the energy Pete Alonso's on with this thing. And after what he did to Trey, never forgive him.
Exactly. Like 23. Yeah, get out of here. You already won it. But somebody said that Pete Alonso doing the Derby again for the 5th year in a row is like the high school, is like the college kid who comes back and hangs out at the high school. Like in the
it's dazed and confused. Yeah,
but Gunner's that's Gunner though. That can't be.
That is, yeah. Gunner is the real Richard Linklater character here. He's we need to. I think this might actually be the redemption arc. He'll prove himself to be the real Wooderson, and then Gunner will keep coming back as he gets older. These home runs stay the same age.
I will say there's 2 shortstops in so far, Gunner and Bobby. There's only been 2 shortstops that have won the Derby, and that's Cal and Miguel Tejada. So
there you go.
Make it a Birdland threesome. Who'd be your ideal Birdland threesome? No, we could talk about that later.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole we don't need to go down. But all right, my friend, if that's all you got, we can close it on that note.
That's all we got.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone for tuning in, hanging with us here on this Monday night. We will be back at it to recap the Cubs. We'll be back at it to recap the Yankees. Hope to see everyone out at Jimmy's on Monday. Have some fun, have some beers, watch the Derby. That'll be great. So thank you all for tuning in. Feel free to check us out on YouTube. You can support us by hitting that subscribe button, by liking all our videos, commenting on them, getting the interaction going, pumping that algorithm up for us. You can also find us on social media at Exit 52 Podcast across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. I am at Jake Louque. That's LOUQUE. Eric is at EDITTI22. Brian at Barstool Banks. Spenny at Ravens 4 Dummies. That is the number 4 in the middle. And Taylor at Taylor Smythe 10. Thanks again for hanging with us, and we'll talk to you guys again very soon.
Bye.